In the past 2 years, video game prices have literally exploded. We're talking about games that were 20 bucks, now they're 40 or even $60. Prices have doubled or in some cases tripled, and there is no console that has spiked more in value than the GameCube. So today, we're gonna take a look at the top 10 games that have went up in value on the Nintendo GameCube console. What is up, Internet? Retro here, and welcome back to another video where we talk about video game prices. Now, if you are a collector and you've been collecting even in the past couple years, you guys know about the prices of video games. It is absolutely insane how much some of these games are going for. And here recently, we did a video specifically on the N64 and what games have went up in value percentage-wise. Now, the reason why we're doing percentage is because I like to have a little variation in the list. Maybe there's going to be some games that we haven't really heard about or talked about very often because we've all seen the list of the top 10, most expensive games on the N64, on the GameCube. We know those lists, but this way we actually get to see some games that maybe that game was 30 bucks a couple years ago and now it's 100. Now it's not necessarily the most expensive game, but it is tripled in value. So we did that with the N64, and today we're going to take a look at the GameCube. So a couple ground rules. Now we're not going to be looking at any like weird variation games or pack-in games or promo games. We're just talking about retail release GameCube games. Also, since we're talking about a disc-based console, we're gonna be looking at CIB prices, complete in box. Now, we didn't do that on the N64 because you just don't really see N64 games complete in box very often. That's a little bit more scarce to see that, but with a disc-based console, you're gonna see a lot more games complete in box. And for me personally, I don't collect games, disc-based games, unless they at least have their case or they're complete in box because I just don't like dealing with it. And lastly, we're gonna be using price charting. So we're gonna go back to January of 2020, get that price, and then fast forward to January 22 to see the difference. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the list. Number 10 is Alien Hominid. Alien Hominid is a 2D run-and-gun game developed by the Behemoth. It was released for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube in North America in 2004. A year later, it was set to be released on the obscure and forgotten Gizmondo handheld, but was later canceled. What's unique about this game is there were very few 2D games being produced at the time. Everybody had transitioned over to the 3D movement. The game is incredibly tough, however, it is still amazing. It's filled with chaos, unique graphics of the time, and it's co-op. If you are a Contra or Metal Slug fan, this is a must to check out. Now let's talk about value. Now this game just 2 years ago was selling on average for about $32 complete in box. Today this game is going to set you back roughly $77, a 240% increase. Number 9 is Botan Kaitos Origins. Botan Kaitos Origins is a 2006 role-playing game developed by Monolith Soft and was released exclusively for the GameCube console. The game is a prequel to Botan Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and The Lost Ocean. The game plays as a traditional JRPG. Now, I don't have any experience with this game directly, so you all will have to tell us down in the comments if this game is worth checking out. Now, let's get straight to the numbers, guys. Now, this game was selling for $52 back in January of 2020, and now is valued at $126, a 242% increase. Number 8 is Gogo Hypergrind. Gogo Hypergrind is a skateboarding game that was also released exclusively for the GameCube. It was developed by Atlus Japan and published by Atlus USA and released in North America on November 18th, 2003. Interestingly enough, being developed in Japan, it was never released there. This game is basically Tony Hawk with wild and wacky cartoon characters that skateboard through a variety of cel-shaded levels. Now this game is pricey. This is one of the higher end games on this list. Gogo Hyper Grind was a $134 game just a couple years ago. Today the game is worth $330 complete, which is a 246% increase in value. Number 7 is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds.
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
You're not easy to kill, are you, Slayer?
This is an action beat-em-up game and the 4th of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer franchise, which is hard to believe that there were that many Buffy games. It was the first to allow players to control characters other than Buffy Summers and feature a fully developed multiplayer mode. It was released across the PlayStation 2, original Xbox, and GameCube console. Now this is one of those games that isn't crazy expensive, but has definitely jumped in price. You could have picked this game up for $25 2 years ago, but it is now running roughly $64, a 256% increase.
Who says blondes have fun?
Number 6 is Ribbit King.
Tell us, how's the level of Super Ribbonite now?
It's not good. It keeps going down, down, down.
Ribbit King is a 2003 sports game developed by Infinity and Jamsworks and published by Bandai for both the GameCube and PlayStation 2. The game is based on the fictional sport Frolf, which is a golf-like game that is played with frogs. Now the frogs sit on catapults, which the player whacks with a hammer to send the frog flying into the air. It is the successor to Kiro King, released only in Japan for the PlayStation. Now this game has always been on the higher end, even 2 years ago. Back in January of 2020, this game was selling on average at $72. Now if you want to pick up this hidden gem, you are looking at $189, a 262% jump in value.
Go!
Number 5 is Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Originally, this survival horror game was developed and published by Capcom and released for the Sega Dreamcast in 2000. Because the Dreamcast had a much smaller user base than PlayStation platforms, Capcom knew the series could not survive solely on the Dreamcast. This led to creating an extended cut titled Code Veronica X, which was released on the PlayStation 2 in 2001. It was later released on the GameCube along with several other Resident Evil games. Now this is another game that has got incredibly pricey over the past 2 years. You could have picked this up for $57 2 years ago, with it jumping to $160 for a complete copy today. That's a 280% increase in value. Number 4 is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Now this is a role-playing game, part of the Pokemon franchise, released for the GameCube. This is actually our 4th game on the list that was released exclusively for the console. It's the successor of the GameCube game Pokemon Colosseum, which is also fairly pricey. An interesting note on Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is that all of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games can connect to this game through trading and battle mode. This is our first game to crack the 300% increase in value. Back in January of 2020, this game would run you $55. Now the game can be picked up for $167, a 303% increase in value. Number 3 is City Racer. City Racer, also known as Downtown Run outside of North America, is a 2003 racing game by Ubisoft and was released for the PlayStation 2, Windows, GameCube, and mobile phones. Now this game may look like just another standard racer of the era, but it does have some unique differences. What makes City Racer stand out from other racing games of the time is that you race using licensed cars. It also features game modes where you can collect power-ups to maximize your chance of winning or can help to slow down opponents. Some of the items you can pick up are power boosts, spikes, bombs, and shields, which all sound very normal for a Mario Kart game, but not a game where you are racing with real-world cars. This is a very obscure and hard-to-find game with limited quantities being produced. City Racer for the GameCube was a $14 game back in January of 2020. Fast forward to today, this game is selling on average for $59, which is a 421% increase. Number 2 is Spirits and Spells. This game is a 3D action platformer that goes by 2 different names, Spirits and Spells in North America and Castleween everywhere else, and was released in 2003. The storyline here is the setting is Halloween, which 2 kids, Alicia and Greg, set off to save their friends from the boogeyman. In order to find their friends and set them free, they need to make it through cemeteries and haunted houses. It's a single-player game, so only one person at a time is allowed to enter the world of the dead. So Alicia and Greg must take turns in order to make their way through the danger that awaits them. Now, in terms of price, this game has skyrocketed through the roof. 2 years ago, you could pick up a CIB copy of this game for $47. As of late, this game has cleared $200, coming in at $205, which is a 436% increase in price. And our number 1 game that has went up in value percentage-wise on the GameCube is Zatch Bell Mecha Fury. Now, this is a fighting game that was released on the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. The original Japanese version was published by Bandai at the end of 2004. There are several different game modes, including story mode, arcade mode, 4-player battle, and even a minigame mode. What's interesting about this particular game is it can be picked up for the PlayStation 2 at a fraction of the price. A copy of this game on the PS2 is roughly $14, but on the GameCube, it's a totally different story. Back in January of 2020, you could buy this game for the GameCube for $27. Fast forward just 2 years later, a complete in-box copy of this game will set you back $122. That's a 451% increase in price, making it our number 1 game on our list.
Botanical madness!
And that is our list of GameCube games that have skyrocketed in value. You guys tell us down below, what is your favorite game from this list for us to check out? And then also tell me, what list would you guys like to see next? We've done N64 and we have done GameCube, and I would love to do another one. Guys, as always, thank you for hanging out, for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, by all means, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already. Until next time, peace.